I'm Katherine Helmond. Join me. Run away with me to Orcas Islands with the rich and famous.
Jet away with us to the fabulous San Juan Islands, coming up next. Tucked away in the northwest corner of the United States lie a cluster of emerald gems set in a sea of shimmering azure, the incomparable San Juan Islands. Just 100 miles northwest of Seattle, Washington, and kissing the Canadian border are more than 200 islands, a Pacific paradise just waiting to be discovered. Some of these gems are privately owned, and the locals whisper about their new neighbors, Tom Cruise, Tom Selleck, Shirley MacLaine, and Angela Lansbury. You can explore the infinite variety of these waterways by private yacht or take what is advertised as the most scenic ferry ride on Earth. Who's the Boss star Katherine Helmond has lived around water all her life and feels most at home on an island. She couldn't wait to see the world-famous San Juans.
We also live on an island, Long Island, so we ride ferries all the time. And I've never gotten over the excitement of it. And it's such a lovely, serene way to approach an island, I think. It seems like an old-fashioned way to travel, a slower and more gracious way.
Stay with us as Katherine Helmond island hops to the jewel in the San Juan Island crown, the spectacular Orcas Island, coming up next. Since 1890, the San Juan Islands have been a private refuge for Seattle's rich and famous, who would sail to their summer estates for the ultimate getaway. But a century later, Who's the Boss star Katherine Helmond and her husband, artist David Christian, took advantage of the modern seaplane.
Neither one of us had ever been on a seaplane before, so we couldn't imagine what that was going to be like. You fly low, so you get a very good vision of everything. When the plane came down out of the air, you couldn't even tell that you had touched the water. It was so beautiful. It was like that you suddenly became a giant bird and that you swooped down and slid right into the dock and parked.
Welcome to Rosario's.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you. May your stay be a pleasant one.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Cheers, darling.
Katherine and David dropped their anchor at the #1 resort hotel on Orcas, the Deluxe Rosario Inn.
The inn is very beautiful. The house was built, I think, in 1900, turn of the century, when there were big, old, sprawling, lovely white summer homes. And all of the places where you stay kind of embrace the shoreline in a semicircle. And our particular house, it's really like a house because we have a living room, a bedroom, bathrooms, a kitchen, an entrance foyer, and the view is spectacular. You can see how the waterway opens up between the mountains and allows the plane to come in that sails right into the Rosario Inn.
The Rosario Mansion's sprawling dining room is the perfect place to greet the day.
The first morning meal we had, when we came down to breakfast in the lovely dining room, which looks right out over the water. And I think the chef really knocked himself out.
Katherine and David chartered a private boat for a surf and safari around the islands in search of wildlife.
It was the first time I had ever been on a boat quite like that one, where you just turned the motor on and it suddenly darted out 50 miles an hour, which was very exciting and thrilling. We also got to see, I think one of the most thrilling things we'd ever seen in our lives was the eagles, the American bald eagle. And we saw two sitting side by side in a tree. The tree was all barren of leaves, so it was like a beautiful dark stalk straight up in the air, and the branches were barren. So you got a beautiful view of these two lovely, magnificent birds. My husband said to me, no wonder this was chosen as the symbol of America. What a magnificent and stunning bird it is. It was really a thrilling sight. We came around a rock, and when we got to the other side, we saw that it was absolutely covered with seals. They made these really funny, awful sounds, indignant and kind of slapping and stomping around. He looks like he's a teenager. A hot rodder, he's diving off. We went across to another island, to Blakely Island, and we had a marvelous picnic there, and champagne, and looked out at the vista and hiked around the island a bit. Can't beat it, Mother Nature and champagne.
Katherine and David got their land legs back in the scenic village of East Sound, where they paid a visit to the pride of Orcas Island, Christina's restaurant.
What was really the surprise was the quality of the food. She is an artist, and we had fresh salmon. And as Christina said, once you have had fresh salmon, you could never go backwards again. And she was quite right. Beautiful, thick cuts of salmon, at least 2 inches. Oh, boy, was it lovely. We had a delicious meal at Christina's.
The natural wonder of Orcas Island can be enjoyed in any kind of weather, from salt-scrubbed air to romantic mist.
Today it was all silvery and misty, and the entire aspect visually changes. Everything becomes like an impressionist painting. You see the water and the skies all shimmering in the mist.
Visitors to the San Juans are dazzled by the enormous variety of fresh seafood, from clams just found on her shorelines to prawns, crabs, and of course salmon.
And you come out here clamming a lot?
For 60 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
There's nothing like boat fresh seafood, and no visit to Orcas is complete without a visit to the Bungalow restaurant.
We had a table in the corner so we could see all of the beautiful silvery water today, and we had yet another fabulous meal.
One of the island's better-known residents is composer Christopher Peacock, who played Katherine one of his favorite compositions in the Rosario Mansion music room. There are those who say that Orcas Island was forever blessed by the ancient Indian tribes who once lived here, and before she left the island, Katherine was convinced of its magic.
Suddenly, the rainbow just appeared and made this gorgeous arc across the sky. It's as if God suddenly took pastels and watercolors and made a beautiful swipe across the whole of the sky, and that it was just done that minute for you. And I guess you did feel like, well, this is the pot of gold, and I'm sitting here, and the rainbow lit the way toward it.